name is Andrea. As I was old enough to hold a pencil in my hand, I knew right there and then I wanted to become an artist. I first attended Columbia College Chicago to get my bachelor's degree in animation, but unfortunately the industry was very hard to get my foot through the door. I decided to turn my interest into teaching art instead. I had a very long journey to get where I'm at today with my artwork, and what influenced me to keep going. It wasn't an easy stroll through the park. I am a cartoonist, someone who enjoys drawing all these wacky characters with backstories you could write a book about. And while my life is filled with artistic creativity beyond anything you can think of, I've also had a lot of unwanted, unnecessary, and unfortunate experiences throughout the majority of my life. But even so, I remember how I got here, so I'll take you down that path. I have been a fan of Walt Disney so much that I was even born on his birthday, December 5th. Walt Disney has played a huge role with my artwork. With movies such as Hercules and Hunchback of Notre Dame, I watched Disney movies not just because they were fun to watch, but because they had such a diverse in characters. It struck an interest in me wanting to create characters. I had a broad cast of characters that I started drawing and continue to draw to this very day. And watching Disney movies helped me expand my numbers as well as how I created them. But it wasn't just movies that got my interest. It was also video games. Video games that had a huge cast of characters, such as Time Splitters and Warcraft. Those were the ones that struck out to me the most. These games had so many characters in their roster that you could literally play anything, from a giant barbarian orc to an animated headless deer carcass. These characters were fascinating to me because there were so many of them, and they all had their role to play in these games. Other games that caught my attention were Dishonored and League of Legends, two games that had tremendous amount of concept art that I just fell in love with, as well as even more cast of characters to get your hands on. Their concept art showcased how much detail went into creating these characters, why they exist, how they exist. It truly feels that these characters are actual human beings. This is what ignited my spark. I wanted my artwork to be as dedicated as all these game concepts, and I felt that if I keep watching and playing, I'd get to the big leagues with my art soon enough. I might be a 31-year-old woman who plays video games on a regular basis, who still watches old Nickelodeon cartoons because there's nothing else to watch, who still loves laughing and tearing up at Disney movies, but it's enjoyable to me. And that should be a reason alone to understand what influences my works of art. But there are other reasons as well. All of these medias are enjoyable to me because it takes me out of the real world for a bit, and it makes me feel like there's this other world we can enjoy and appreciate. It makes me stop worrying about all the troublesome issues that the real world has placed in front of me, and it has that effect on others around me. While the real world is a scary one, and we all have to face our fears at some point, I can't stress enough how we need our fun moments too. And it's not just me that appreciates all these different medias, it's my friends and family too. Whenever I'm around them and we're watching movies or playing video games, I see that same enjoyment that I'm currently experiencing. And I freaking love that, my dudes. I will continue watching movies, TV shows, and playing video games to help inspire my work of cartooning and expand my artwork to even create more characters for people to enjoy and relate to. This is where I want to turn to my work. The characters that I have created are a variety of fighters, warriors, clerics, bards, hunters, druids. You get the picture. These are heroes that we've created in our minds as our alter egos. Someone that we tend to turn to whenever we feel unsafe, or try to imagine some situation that involves our alter egos coming out on top of. I wanted to include you, the viewer, into my work, and I felt that creating a faceless figure would make you feel like this is you. Standing in front of all these warriors that have been dragged through the dirt, keeping you safe from any traumatic experiences. You see, as someone who has faced multiple traumatic incidences in their life, drawing was always a scapegoat for me. Whenever I wanted to go to a safe place mentally, I tend to imagine a character I created and play a story in my head. That's what these characters represent. They represent the safeness you imagine whenever you're in a comfortable situation. The crumpled paper at the feet of the figure is of those representing that they unfortunately lost the battle. There are fights that we can defend against and either come out okay or injured. But then there are also the fights that are sadly lost. And I wanted to represent that as well, because there's all sorts of battles humans can face. I didn't want to exclude anything out of this project. This is you, the hero, walking into battle with your alter ego watching over you, protecting you as you come face to face with a traumatic situation. My work is about you, the hero, who created their alter ego to fight back against their unfortunate circumstances and other tragedies throughout life. We all have ways to combat and overcome the odds. Why don't we just do it in a heroic fashion? Roll for initiative, my friends, because we are going on one hell of an adventure.